Most families who want to leave the UK think they have two separate problems. Problem one is the money. I need more savings, I need more income, I need a bigger financial cushion before I can even think about leaving. Problem two is the plan. Where do I go? What about schooling? What about the kids? And so they end up having two separate problems that they're trying to deal with one at a time. But what I want to show you today is that they aren't two separate problems, they're just one challenge. And once you see that, everything starts to move so much more quickly. I've spent the last 21 months traveling the world. We've been to Europe, Southeast Asia, Australia, and India, and we're about to do it all again in a couple of weeks. And when I was in the planning stages, all those months ago, I did what most people do. I kept the money stuff and the planning stuff separately in my head in two separate sort of boxes. So I'll get the income and the money sorted first, and then I'll decide where I want to go. But they kept kind of bleeding into each other. But what I eventually understood was that really both of these challenges, both of these questions only really make sense if they're brought together. So, I mean, the income and how much money you need really depends on where you're going. And where you're going to go and what you're going to do really depends on how much money you've got. So they're not two separate problems, they're one. And you need to work on them both at the same time to solve that. So let me explain. So when you're trying to leave the UK with your kids, the thing that stops most people isn't that they can't find out the information, because there's so much information online. It's that having the money and leaving feel like two very different challenges. The thing about building online income and working remotely is that the moment that you start, even just putting together one digital product that you can sell, everything just changes. And you can stop thinking about leaving the UK as some abstract, distant, fairy tale dream and start thinking about it as a logistics problem, but something that you can solve. So how much do I actually need? Where am I actually going? And what does life there actually cost? They're solvable problems. That's not abstract at all. And the funny thing is, the answer to that last question is probably a lot less than you realise. Because I have known lots of families who have made that move to another country and they're not earning more than they were in the UK. In fact, some of them are earning less than they were in the UK. But their outgoings, their expenses dropped so much once they left that the figure or the amount of money that felt kind of tight and not enough when they were in the UK suddenly seemed okay. In fact, it seemed more than okay. It was absolutely doable. So, for example, in Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, many other countries around the world, you can live really well on £2,000 to £2,500 a month for a family of 3 or 4, which means you are not trying to replace your UK salary. You're trying to create an income stream that brings you enough in and covers a much smaller number. And that really does change the way you look at everything, because the idea of making enough money to leave the UK feels like a huge challenge, a huge obstacle that you can't quite manage, you can't quite get over. But making, £2,000 a month online suddenly feels a lot more doable. Obviously, that £2,000 is just a figure. I mean, for me and Jai, when it's just us two, we can live on £1,000 a month in some countries. So it really does depend on the size of your family, what you want to be doing while you're away, world schooling hubs that you're going to be involved in, if you're into sports or activities, or if you're just happy to live quite simply and slow travel. For all of my digital download products, I use Stan Store to sell those. And it's a really simple setup. It's the simplest setup I found, actually. And it's something you can have live and selling within a day. And I have an affiliate link for Stan Store. It's in my bio if you want to go and check that out. And the other really good thing that having some online income does, even if it's small straight away, is it gives you a date, a leaving date, rather than a vague sort of one day we'll do it. Because once you've got something coming in, even if it's only a small amount to start with, you can start to see how the numbers are going to work for you. And then you can really start planning your exit. So here are the steps I would take, and I have taken, to plan my own exit from the UK. Step 1, do your 3 numbers: UK outgoings, destination outgoings, and your income gap. Write those down, because I think this is the most clarifying thing that you can do to start with. Step 2 is build your destination shortlist. And this doesn't have to be set in stone or anything, but you need to know 2 or 3 destinations that you can actively do your research on. So the cost of living, schooling options, healthcare needs, the climate, the weather, visas, everything. Step 3 is pick how you're going to make your income. So you don't want 5 ideas, you just want 1 to start with. Something that you can actually build in the next few months. So that might be a digital product that you can sell online, a coaching or a consulting offer, or some freelance work, or something that you can do for somebody else. Step 4 is start thinking about your leaving date, a provisional one. So maybe sometime in the next 12 months. Having a kind of a rough window, and not too far in the future as well, makes that exit plan real. It makes it something that's actually going to be happening rather than a dream. Plus, it gives your income building a sense of urgency. You know, you have a date, you have a deadline. This is when I need to start making money by. And then step 5 is do them both simultaneously. Don't do one then the other. Focus on them both at the same time, because they're not getting in each other's way. They're actually feeding each other. When your income grows, your confidence in leaving grows. When your leaving feels more real, and like it's actually going to happen, you have that deadline, you're going to be more motivated to build your income. And that's how people leave. It's not by waiting until everything is lined up and everything is just right, because that day won't really happen. It's about taking the action steps to making that dream your reality. And then, you know, one day, you'll be getting on that plane and you'll look back and you will thank yourself for all the work you did and all the motivation it took and all the perseverance, because you did it. And you're getting on that plane and you're going to that destination that you've been dreaming of for so long. And if you want support on either of these tracks, here's how I can help. For the income side, I have a one-to-one program called the Freedom Business Builder. It's one-to-one coaching with me, where we build your online income together, specifically designed for creating a life of traveling the world with your family. All the details are in the description. And for the leaving side, I've put together the exit plan, how to leave the UK with kids. It walks you through the whole process, from those 3 numbers to the paperwork to the actual departure date. That's also in the description. Tell me in the comments as well, which of these challenges sounds more difficult for you at the moment? Is it the money side? Is it the leaving side? And I will see you in the next video.